Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, a free site, bettingangle.us, a free site. It is December 17th, 2024. Let's talk about week 16, I believe it is, of the NFL. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let me also point out, in my opinion, the NFL MVP is a done deal. Josh Allen rose to the occasion. Unless he, decides to, start some kind of late night lifestyle, he's going to be your MVP. Jared Goff fell apart in one of the biggest games of the year. By falling apart, I just mean he did not win. He did not match Josh Allen. I understand that there is a Lamar Jackson argument out there. He had a spectacular game. As I mentioned before, he's already won 2 MVPs. Baltimore's having a hard time winning their conference. Buffalo, although it's not the 1 seed in the AFC, they have wrapped up the AFC East. There is a feeling that Josh Allen has been an elite quarterback for a number of years. He's never won an MVP. These awards often take a it's his turn type of dynamic. Let me point out, too, that Saquon Barkley went up against a very good Pittsburgh Steelers run defense, and he did not get 100 yards. Right? I believe because his team, Philly, in my opinion, as I said last week, is the best team in the NFC, because they have Super Bowl aspirations. I believe they're going to want their running back to get some rest over the next few weeks. Right? This season's not about getting the fans a long-time record in the hopes of getting people in the seats next year. No, they want the banner. They want the parade in Philadelphia. Right? You saw Detroit's defense yesterday. How are they going to come close to stopping Philly in the playoffs, even in Detroit? Right? So my point to you is I don't think Saquon is going to get the touches to challenge Eric Dickerson. That's the only way, in my opinion, that Saquon gets a share of the MVP trophy. Let's talk about the week. I was 3-3. Second straight 500 week. I won with Houston, laying 2.5. I won with Buffalo, laying 3. Getting 3. I won with Atlanta, laying 3. I lost miserably with the Cleveland Browns against Pat Mahomes. I lost miserably with the Chargers, laying 2.5. They were actually the favorite against visiting Tampa Bay. I lost with the over in the Pittsburgh-Philly game. 3-3. Let's try to hop in the water here. Let me also say, too, that I've been betting a lot of look-ahead lines. So some of the lines that I have here are going to be different than the lines that are going off this week, especially since you've had some injuries, right? There's some question marks about some key players, including Pat Mahomes, who is nursing an ankle injury. So, Houston at KC. I can't help myself. I got Houston +4 against Kansas City. Let me point out that Kansas City is very well positioned. I see that a bunch of guys are coming back to that team. You're going to have to beat Kansas City in Kansas City. I'm not sure if any team can do that in the AFC, right? Some teams exceed Kansas City in talent, right? I believe Baltimore is a better team, for example. But wow, you're asking me to bet against Pat Mahomes at home in the playoffs, and the opposing quarterback is not Joe Burrow, right? We'll see what happens. But while I'll certainly be betting against Kansas City in the Super Bowl if the Eagles make it out of the NFC. Let's just say, while I'm betting against the Chiefs every week on these betting spreads, I myself realized that they got lucky by pretty much nailing down the 1 seed in the AFC. Right? So we'll see how it goes. It'll be a touchy-feely type of thing for me with the Chiefs. I am taking Houston on the road at KC this coming week. At the time I made the bet, I got 4 points. Next, you have Pittsburgh getting 4 points on the road at Baltimore. Right? Understand, Pittsburgh's coming off of a tough matchup against the Eagles. In other words, that was a slugfest. That went under. Right? But here, for whatever reason, Mike Tomlin seems to have Lamar Jackson's number. Right? There also isn't the uncertainty that you have when the Ravens play an NFC team. I like Pittsburgh getting 4 points on the road at Baltimore. Pittsburgh, of course, is in contention to win that division. Pittsburgh has an active incentive above and beyond just making the playoffs to look good in the game. Next, I like Chicago getting 8 points at home against Detroit. Right? I think Detroit is in a letdown spot. Folks, you had an MVP game. You had Buffalo coming to town. Buffalo was coming off a loss. Right? This was Detroit's opportunity to show that they could hang with one of the best teams in the league. They couldn't. Right? Worse yet, if you're the defensive coordinator for the Lions, you're a bit panicked right now because Josh Allen seemed to be moving the ball at will. I like Chicago getting 8 points. They're at home. They're getting more than a touchdown. I'm in. Next, I bet this game 3 different times. I'm just going to pick the line in the middle that I got. I like Philly laying 3 on the road at Washington. Right? Now, I'll agree. Jaden Daniels, particularly this last week, where the quarterback for Denver threw 3 picks, Bo Nix. Right? Jaden Daniels seems to have locked up Offensive Rookie of the Year. Right? But I believe it's a step too far to expect him, now that Philly knows they have a shot at the 1 seed in the NFC, to deal with this Philadelphia defense, even at home. I like Philly laying 3 points against the against the Commanders. Right? Next, I like the Rams laying 2.5 points on the road against the New York Jets. Right, folks? Things have fallen apart for the Jets. I don't know how many games are going to look promising in, only to fade at the end. McVay's one of the best coaches in the league. Puka Nacua is going to be a Pro Bowler for several years. Matt Stafford has won a Super Bowl, right? He has the same number of Super Bowl wins as Aaron Rodgers. I like the laying 2.5 points with the visiting Rams. Next, I like the Dolphins. In fact, I'm not going to take that bet because the Dolphins seem to be out of it. In fact, I'm going to limit myself to those games. I have some experimental picks on here, but that's okay for me. With my money, I don't feel comfortable making those picks and having people follow them with their money. So you have the games I like: Pittsburgh +4, Chicago +8, Philly laying 3 points, the Rams laying 2.5 points. Those are the games I'm going with this week. Let's hope we could break this 500 2-week stretch that I'm in. Let me hear from you, whether you agree with these picks, disagree with these picks, or have your own picks. Feel free to leave that information in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.